And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell-Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester. With me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell-Blanken. Tyler, man, yesterday, Marana Fall Festival, food trucks, sugar, coffee, lots and lots and lots and lots of people, and so much dust. I think I blew my nose, and about 19 pounds of dust came out of my head. Absolutely wild. I am gassed. How you doing today?
Yeah, I'm you got me right off the bat with that description. Like I knew about your experience there, but the way you laid it out was really funny. I'm doing great, man. I was telling you this week was really busy for me as well. I avoided dust, luckily, and other particles, but work was busy. School was a little less intense. I know we'll get into that later, but yeah, just saw some really amazing people this week. I know we'll get into that shortly. But yeah, it was a really great week, man. I know we have another loaded edition of Gimmick Infringement. Truly, we got wrestling. I think we got 3 segments today. We got a lot to get into. So as always, I'm thrilled to see you.
Man, I the dust was fine until we packed up, and then the cars just plumed it into the air, and it was just everywhere. It's unavoidable. It became like living in a fog machine, but it was just silt. People walking by with sunflowers. Shout out to wonderwanderkids.org.com. I can't remember. One moment.
I was trying to beat you to it. You got it. I'm pretty sure it's .org.
I think it is too. I would screw this up.
No, it's for sure .org, but I'm going to let you confirm.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find it right now. My internet's lagging enough, and
I got you.
Okay, appreciate that. I don't want to get it wrong. I should know this. Anyway, Jess, my wife's company that I don't know the website to, is awesome, worthy of support. And she had some art stuff set up for the kids yesterday, puffy paint on some plates. And then when the sun went down, she had them make these little like sugar skull lanterns on some cups with some yarn and some glow sticks inside, so they can wear them around their neck. Saw a lot of kids wearing them around the park, around the Heritage Farms Park.
Sugar skull is very Tucson. Yeah. Reminds me of that indoor football team with the cool logo.
Yep. It's absolutely right. Yeah. So made a lot of contacts, and it was really good. Got to see some students, and that was really cool. Not so many that it made me want to cut a promo, but Tyler, I know it's your time. I'm just going to pass it to you. It is time for another edition of Promo of the Week. Play the music.
And now, the Promo of the Week.
Yeah, so we're setting records on this episode as well, Brad. I do not recall starting a Promo of the Week 3 minutes into the show, but it must happen. In terms of my week, the week really ended on such a positive note. I was able to support a good friend of the show, George Romero, former guest. He is the offensive coordinator at Tanque Verde High School. And it just so happened that they had an away game. He told me weeks and weeks in advance, even I think back in the summer when they got their schedule, that on Friday, October 20th, they would be playing at Glendale Preparatory Academy. My response to George was, what in the hell is Glendale Preparatory Academy? Like, I've grown up here my whole life. I've never heard of this place. So I Googled it. I found, it's like 15 minutes from the casa. Like count me in. I did the responsible friend thing where I said months in advance, count me in. I'm not going to cancel last minute and be an introvert. I will be there to support you and your kids. And I did. I went and I supported him. And and they ended up winning.
All big. In was great, by the way.
Yes. They ended hilarious. They ended up winning big. I think it was 30-3 was the final score. So that was lovely, and super proud of George. If he's listening or watching, thank you again for the invite. But this is a promo of the week, Brad. So I got salty about something. Here was my issue. Glendale Preparatory Academy, home of the Griffins. Number one, I had to Google what a griffin is.
That's shocking to me.
I don't know if is it a Harry Potter thing? It's like a horse with wings.
It's
right?
it's a mythology thing, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what
it's been around for I don't know, a couple thousand years.
Okay, so it's more of a me thing than it is them. Okay, that's
well, there is a certain section of the population that would know about this more than you, and they probably don't look a lot like you. They probably look a lot like me.
I saw
be forgiving there. Give yourself some grace there.
I saw griffins, and I was like, "What is that? That's not intimidating. What is a griffin?" But that's not the promo, man. So I was already confused going into it. It was totally like, okay, I'm in my hometown, but I'm in enemy territory because I'm sitting in the home section, but I got my green Santa Verde hat on. Because again, I'm here to support my guy. But here's my issue, Brad. Two parts of my game day experience that were just atrocious. Number one, early on in the game, first quarter Jones, a guy who I can only presume is the school's athletic director is walking by the stands. He's carrying a box. So I'm like, what is this guy about to do? He puts his hand in the box and then showers us with these little toy footballs. So I'm just trying to watch the game in peace and support my friend. And then all of a sudden, we are pelted with dozens of these things. Brad, what am I going to do with this? This is going directly to my local Goodwill. This literally landed right in my lap. I wasn't the guy at the game that tried to catch a souvenir. I got this thing. I'm not going to do anything with this. What kind of carny bullshit is throwing items at your grown audience members? There was like a grandpa and grandma in front of me that got pelted. It was absurd.
I wasn't judging.
It was absurd. So I have this thing, and it's going to my Goodwill pile the next time I hit my local one up. Secondly, Brad, I took issue with the students of Glendale Preparatory Academy. Apparently, this place is a 6 through 12 institution, so lots of variance in age, lots of younger kids running around. It was
the footballs.
Yeah, precisely. Look at this thing. So I felt really old in the audience, Brad. From early on, I would say 90% of the kids that were there had no interest in watching the game. It was social time. It was running around. Again, 6 through 12, so some younger kids that just want to have fun and play. I get it. But I felt like, I'm going to reference one of my favorite shows, Atlanta. There's this episode where Ern, played by Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, his dad specifically avoids certain times going to the mall because he doesn't want to interact with teenagers or anyone young whatsoever, because it's loud, it's noisy, there's people running around. He just wants to get to the mall at like the first hour it opens, or his day's ruined. He does not want to go. So I felt like Ern's dad going to the mall at like 4 p.m. when it's popping, because there were so many kids running around. There was even one moment where two boys were throwing a football directly in our view of the field. It was awful, Brad. I came here to watch some football, not to watch kids play tag or to be pelted with these little toys. So Georgia's team won. That made me happy. But Glendale Prep, step up your game day experience. I paid $5 to get into this venue, and the speaker system was terrible. But it was an awful experience. If George didn't win this game, I would be even more upset. But our friend, he got the dub. I'm proud of him, and I have no interest in ever going back to Griffin's Field ever again. It's not going to happen.
I have to say, you have certainly never sounded older than you do now. I want to know, have you ever gone to a parade in your life?
I think so. Yeah, years ago.
It seems like you're absolutely the kind of person that when they throw candy down for you, you probably throw it back at them and say, I hate fun, take this. And then throw it like you see Santa and you double bird him in the street if it's a Christmas thing. And you beat the shit out of the Easter Bunny if he's there. I'm with you on the kids throwing footballs in front of my view. Get all the way out of here with that.
Oh, yeah, not the AD. Yeah, they were literally the grandpa in front of me.
I'd pick him off and throw it on a roof. Like
the grandpa in front of me with the Vietnam hat Shout out to our veterans. That's a shoot.
I
Yeah,
could see the person. Like,
yeah,
I
it
don't
was
need
like a
any
Harley,
further
like a
description.
Harley
Yeah,
Davidson.
I was going to
team.
ask
Yeah.
if there's a biker team.
Oh yeah. The
There always
student,
is.
the population of Glendale Prep. It
No,
was.
I feel you.
Yeah. Not a lot of black and brown faces there, but So the grandpa, I didn't tell you, the grandpa actually told those kids within about 30 seconds. He said, "Hey, you please throw it back behind." So the grandpa shut it down. Shout out to
awesome.
him. He nipped that right in the butt.
I'm sure somebody saw him and went, "Yeah, I'm not messing with that guy. That guy's seen some stuff. We're just gonna go over here.
Absolutely.
We'll throw it around back here."
Absolutely.
That's pretty dope. I don't get the listen, man. I have no problem with somebody throwing little toys like that into the audience, but you got to look at what you're throwing it into. If you look up and it's a section of all adults, maybe you don't throw them up there. But you know better than I do, or as well as I do, that if there's a teenager in there and those little ball things get floated out there, they're going to be stoked. Like I gave my kids stickers on Wednesday. I cannot tell you how happy they were that they got stickers. They're like 18 years old and pumped. They got an orange scented sticker. So I get it. You just sound like a curmudgeon-y old man. That's
I own it.
I can't wait to see you in your old days yelling off of your porch for kids to get off your lawn, even though you will certainly just have rocks because it's Arizona. Get off my artificial grass, kids.
Yeah.
Something like that. But however, you don't teach at this school. You didn't go to this school. You are somebody going to support somebody that's a friend, that is a GI rep, and your experience that you paid for is being ruined by all this tomfoolery and shenanigans. So I totally understand your perspective. If this were at a school, if this were at Marana High when you were there, I don't know that you would have the same view. Mm-hmm. However, you were just there as like a local trying to enjoy the game.
Basically,
I'm trying to support this local thing, and you're like, I'm never going back.
No, and the game was also delayed. So George said they ran into not only traffic, but apparently there was an accident on the interstate. So kickoff was supposed to be 7. It was moved to 8. So to your point, Brad, in fairness, I always appreciate your POV. There were factors that just led to my irritation. Some of which didn't even have any, Glendale Prep had no effect on it. So I appreciate your perspective on it, because you're right. There were a lot of factors that just led to me being super irritated, super Clint Eastwood. It was an experience.
Yeah, it was also the end of the week. You had worked the full week.
And I was in Tempe, man. I had to go to Tempe for a gimmick for the college that lasted longer than it was supposed. There were factors. There were absolute factors.
That's right. I think you texted me the day after because it was so late when you got home, and it was like, "Oh, good luck to you." And you were like, "That was last night." But yeah.
It was.
It was like, "Oh my gosh, that was that late." Okay.
Yeah. The week was wild, but I guess to summarize how the week was on my end. Yeah. So saw George. Even ran into a former student at one of these college and career fair nights, and that was amazing. And like you, we just have these subtle reminders during the week of like, man, life is really good, and I just have a really cool job, and I have really great people in my life, and I should feel more grateful for that. And if Freya wants a toy football,
she'd be all over that.
Please let me know.
She'd be giving that to her Barbies and stuff. Yeah, she'd love a toy football like that.
Oh, well,
box it up.
Consider it done. Consider it done.
Yeah, man. Think of it this way: you spend $5, you got memories and a free football. I
have nothing to add. That's beautiful. I have nothing to add. That is beautiful. Great summary.
I can't wait to try to answer your question this week. Like I said, it's been a busy week. We're gonna do the best we can. Tyler, hit us with the WWE question.
Yeah, that was such a long promo.
That was so good. Good.
Okay, thanks for indulging. I was like, oh man, I hit the 5-minute mark. If I was ever recruited by WWE, like I would just be in promo. I would need to be in promo class 24/7.
The name of the promo imaging that I use now is promo long. So I think we got 15 minutes baked in, just because we've historically not been awesome with keeping it under 5.
That sounds like us.
Yeah.
Speaking of WWE, though, I do have a question for you, Brad. The NBA returns this week. Professional and collegiate football are in the thick of their seasons. Playoff baseball is in full effect. NHL is in season. October is truly a sports fan's dream.
It's the best.
That being said, part of what we agree makes wrestling so unique is that there is no off season. Somehow, the next big WWE PLE is a week from this Saturday. Yes, the 5th installment of Crown Jewel is taking place on November 4th. And, ironically, we have 4 matches announced. Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul for the U.S. Championship.
Right.
Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's World Championship. Seth freaking Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. And, of course, it's on the poster, Roman Reigns versus LA Knight for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Here's my question. We saw each of these title programs progress on Raw and SmackDown last week. In fact, the matches were announced as officially taking place on November 4th.
Right.
Over under 2 title changes at Crown Jewel.
I'm going to say over.
Really?
Yeah.
We get 3? All 4?
Well, I can't even say over under. I think I'm just going to take the number.
You're going to take 2.
I'm not going to take the over or the underwear. Yeah.
We're
pushing 2.
Which
I don't
2?
think it, I'm going to say I'm wrong, but I'm going to say LA Knight because I want to put it into the universe. It's not going to happen, but I hope it does.
Wouldn't it make so much sense though?
Yes, but when has WWE ever done anything that makes sense?
I just feel like he's too big now for the U.S. Championship. That could have been a thing at SummerSlam, but I feel like that would respectfully kind of feel like a demotion for him at this point.
Well, what do you do with Cody? Like, everybody wants Cody to finish. Does anybody really want the story to finish now? Kind of over the story. The story's been going on too long. I forgot it was a story. It's just this footnote now. It's kind of like, I don't know, getting a collection of Shakespeare. Just there's stories in it. I'm not interested in reading them. I'll watch them be performed, but I don't need them. Anyway, I think LA Knight, and I think this might be a time to, even though I don't want to see it end here. Man, if they put the US title on Logan Paul, that's the one I'm most worried about. I
think it's going to happen.
I think it's going to happen too, but I'm not going to predict that one because I don't want it to happen. I think it might be. I think this might be the time they're either going to. Honestly, looking at it, Rhea probably retains, and she should. But I also think it's a good time to put it on Raquel because she hasn't won it yet. She could certainly be that person,
and Rhea wouldn't have to get pinned, right? In the
exactly. It does make me worry that it's going to be Zoe Stark getting pinned. We're certainly going to get the everybody team up and beat down Nia Jax. That's what happens in every match with Nia Jax in it, where there's more than one person. So I think that'll happen, right? If Nia wins, that I can't see that happening. I can see Nia eating the pin as a way to like, hey, the way you ended, you gotta eat this for a little while. We're gonna have you eat some pins here. So I could see that happening. I would love it if it was a surprise and it was Zoe Stark. So I'm gonna say Raquel probably the most likely in that scenario. Would love it to be Zoe Stark. So I'll just pick for the sake of me picking stuff, even though I don't believe either one of them. I'm gonna pick LA Knight. I'm gonna pick Raquel.
Wow. Okay. I think I might push with you on this, but I am going. Am I going the opposite of you? I think I am. Logan Paul.
And then the Seth match.
I can't believe I'm going to say this. Yeah. Logan Paul defeats my GOAT, Rey Mysterio. And I definitely believe that Drew McIntyre wins. You know, Brad, I'm a huge Drew guy. I think November 4th is the time to crown him. I think those two definitely are the moves. I think Rhea retains, and like you, there's such a case in my opinion for LA Knight to go over here, but I just don't see any conceivable way that Roman drops until Mania in Philly.
Yeah. Or that's when the rematch happens. And maybe LA has a limited run with the belt, or Roman goes after a different belt. Roman's on SmackDown. LA Knight's on SmackDown. I don't know. I don't know how it would work if he went after Seth's belt. If Seth retained and Roman went after him at Mania after losing to LA Knight, that would be the Mania match I'd want to see. I'd want to see Roman Seth more than I'd want to see Roman Cody.
That would be fire. Is there a chance that Roman versus Rock could be the move for Mania? That is the Roman match. Doesn't need a title.
Yeah, that's the one with, if Roman doesn't have a title, that's the one. That's like for the bloodline, right? But who do you put over? Guy who doesn't wrestle anymore, or guy who doesn't wrestle anymore? Which guy that doesn't wrestle do you want to have win?
I think it's got to be Roman. But point taken. Yeah, these guys are not full time, and Roman is on. He's been on that attraction schedule for a minute now.
Well deserved. Don't get me wrong.
Yes,
but
yes, absolutely well deserved.
I don't know. A month and a half without defending is a long time to go without defending.
And I think if he didn't have the belt and he was working the schedule, it would hit much different, and we wouldn't, it wouldn't make our shoulders itch the way it does.
Show up for some eliminator tournaments and watch from the back, like just doing this thing and watching the screen.
That's a great Roman. Yeah.
And then like somebody saying like, I'm coming after Roman, and he could do that thing he does with his nose and his jaw. Like the I'm irritated twitch that he has. I love that stuff. I would love to see him on camera more. We just need him around. He doesn't have to be in the ring necessarily, but like put him in the presence of the title picture, remind people who the champion is. Cause like Jimmy's not reminding me who the champion is. Solo doesn't even do it for me. Paul barely does it at this point, because when I see Paul now, I don't even think Roman. I think Solo and Jimmy, because they did that for so long.
Right.
And now I'm starting to come back to it, because now it's obviously it's a bigger deal. But
right, I still don't know why Jimmy is with them. That I'm all here for main event Jay and him getting a singles push. And it's funny now he attacked Jimmy, and perhaps we're gonna get that match soon. I still don't storyline wise get why or how Jimmy is back with the bloodline. Like that just he was the reason why this all crumbled. And he doesn't want his brother to be Roman, but now he's trying to be Roman. Like it's definitely one of the biggest storyline faux pas in WWE for me of 2023.
Well, also Jay's singles push got turned into a tag championship run that lasted a brief time, but like his singles push was become a tag champ. What? You're on your own now. Here's your new partner. What are we doing? I don't know, man. Okay, Tyler, I'm gonna hit you with my question here. Okay, Tyler, Bianca Belair is back. She returned to stop damage control, unfairly beating down people. Again, that's what they do. My question for you is pretty simple. What do you want to see or hope to see from Bianca Belair in this new run after coming back from her break?
She's a favorite of mine, has been for a while. She's had title reigns, prominent WrestleMania matches. She's truly a face of the company. What do I want from Gold Bianca? Man, I just really want the Jade match. I want it as soon as possible. Speaking of WrestleMania, this is what I want at WrestleMania. I want her and Jade to do business. I know an idea has been floated amongst the IWC about maybe pairing Bianca and Jade as a tag team of some sort. And I could be here for that. I listen, two beautiful sisters. They're powerful. Black Girl Magic. Just bench pressing 90% of the women's roster. I'm here for it. But I think, Brad, we all know the money is in the singles match. I don't want to wait long. I want this to happen at Mania. That's what I want for the Bianca run. Of course, I would love another long title reign. And I think we'll get that at some point in 2024. But she's just been synonymous with gold for so long that I'm actually not in a rush to see her reclaim a championship. I just want that Jade storyline. Sure. I want it ASAP, even though maybe Jade's headed to Halloween Havoc, NXT. I don't know. But that's what I really want. I would really love a Rhea feud at some point as well.
Yeah.
I think that, I know I just talked about Jade, but I think Bianca versus Rhea is main event worthy of WrestleMania, maybe a night one situation, but I think that's already a built in. They have history galore, and to me, there are no two bigger stars in the company right now than Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. So I want them to cook. I want them to get time together and have a long storyline. So give me the Jade match. Give me something with Rhea, and I'll be a happy Bianca Belair fan. What do you want to see?
Exactly what you just said.
It would be so good. Printing money, right?
Yeah, character work wise, I think, I don't know. I really liked her kind of sassy quasi NXT stuff that she was doing before her injury. Oh, wait. We did double pieces. There we go. I just wanted some confetti. So I just remembered. I, like you, want to see the Jade match. I really want to see Jade and Zelina Vega because I want Zelina to eat a pump kick. It's like,
yeah,
that's the one. That's the person on the roster that I think would be the best taker of the pump kick. Maybe Zoe Stark, but Zelina is just so much smaller than Jade that I think it would be awesome. And I think those two could do a lot of like David and Goliath type stuff. I think it'd be really cool.
For sure.
But yeah, to your point, yeah, Bianca, Jade, Rhea, yes, all of that. That's what I want. And to your point, you can put the belt on Bianca whenever you want. She doesn't need it. I just want to see her in the picture and having cool matches with people. And that's kind of it. I want her character to have a reason to be in matches that are interesting and not just lots of tag matches that are grudge tag matches for a backstage beef for no stakes and no reason. It's weird to have titles where people just fight because someone spilled a drink on their shirt. I really hate that. That's one of the things I really dislike about WWE and why I have a hard time getting into it. But if you put her in, do you remember when Triple H took over and it was immediately we're going to have a US and an IC title tournament? More of that. I want to see Bianca in those tournaments. I want to see Bianca in contenders matches and not eliminator matches necessarily where she has to pin the champion to get a title match. I just want to see her in cool stuff with the best talent on the roster. It's same for all of the women. Like, give them interesting things to do, tell compelling stories about the matches, but make the matches about winning titles and not about, I don't know, dumb, stupid stuff. Like, I can't stand that. And there's been much less of that in all fairness, but I just really want to see something with stakes.
Yeah, me too. And that's
not literal stakes though. Vampire kind or meat kind. I don't want any of those.
Speaking of stakes, I thought about when Bianca picked up Otis.
Yeah.
Like, she's just, I think really that is where WWE shines. And hopefully, especially now under a Triple H led regime, if Vince is in fact getting the boot from Ari Emanuel, which makes my heart really happy to hear. I think WWE shines with their women's division. I mean, Brad, at the top of that division, you just have some absolute ultra tippity top megastars of the industry. Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair. They signed Jade, Rhea Ripley. I mean, they're just deep. You mentioned Zelina, who's amazing. Bayley, Io Sky. WWE really has. We talk about AEW and how amazing their women are. Impact Wrestling, which I think we'll talk about a little bit later. They have a spectacular women's division.
Bound to.
Yes. WWE, though, I just think that in terms of the star power element and how they've developed them into household names, it's just uncanny. So yeah, man, I agree with you. I'm stoked Bianca's back. I'm down either way if we get kind of pure babyface Bianca, or probably low key what I would prefer, kind of the shades of gray, or she knows how good she is and she's going to tell you. I think she can still be that Bianca and sell merch and have kids adore her. Even if she leans into that kind of pseudo NXT Bianca character, I think that would be marvelous.
Yeah, well, my dad joke was not marvelous. It was cringeworthy. And speaking of cringeworthy, it's time to talk about one of the most cringeworthy shows on television today, The Golden Bachelor. It's time for another edition of A Rose from Tyler. Play the music.
And now, for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
Golden Bachelor. It is that time once again. We're halfway through the season, Brad. The inaugural season of Golden Bachelor. There are 8 episodes in the season. We just watched episode 4 this past week. I got some notes for you. I absolutely love this episode. I think it was... it's just hitting all the right notes for me. I think it was the best of the season by far. Here's what stood out. Pickleball happened. The pickleball group date. April faked an injury during pickleball. So it was kind of like a record screeching moment. During the game, one of the women fell. And Brad, you and I talked about it during our preview of this season. What do these competitions look like when you have contestants of a certain age? So she falls and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I hope they just treat this right. And it turns out April was working us this whole time. She just wanted Gary's attention and affection. So shrewd move, smooth operator. Shout out to April. She got kicked off. She got eliminated.
I was like, how'd that work out for her?
Yeah, so it didn't work out for her well. But in terms of what I enjoyed from this episode, April was near the top. Sandra even had, I wrote in my notes, a web gem going back to my Sports Center days, but I know this is pickleball, it's not baseball or softball. But she just had an amazing, wasn't even a catch, she had an amazing hit where she was like running out of bounds, but still hit it and got it over the net. It was Serena Williams City. It was really fantastic. And she even got the date rose. She did so well that Gary gave her the rose from this pickleball date. We even saw Joey appear, the tennis pro from Hawaii, who is the next Bachelor. He showed up. Kathy and Teresa, the rivalry continued. She told Teresa to zip it. She was on her full Dr. Evil vibes. It popped me when she just got annoyed by Teresa endlessly. There was even a Never Have I Ever game with ice cream, Brad, where the women were sharing some promiscuous details of their past. It was like, where's the wildest place where you had sex and just it was like kind of sandwiched in the middle of the episode. I'm not sure I was ready for it, but they had the game. Best part of this was they interviewed Sandra, and Sandra said, I'm lactose intolerant. So if a contestant had done one of these sultry acts, they had to take ice cream. So like, oh, have you done it in a car? Oh shoot, that's me. Yeah, I have. Let me take my spoon of ice cream. So Sandra participated in this, Brad, even though she's lactose intolerant. So she then got a stomach ache and was like on the IR, like the injured reserve list for the rest of the episode. Wow. So this brought me back to my days working with you at Marana High School when
because of my injuries.
No, actually.
Okay. Okay.
That's no, not this time. When we had potlucks, and I think our viewers and listeners can relate to this.
You don't have to potlucks,
you don't have to work at a school to have an office potluck. They're everywhere. When we would have these potlucks, and I would look at some of the items on the menu that folks would bring, and I would be like, oh man, this potato salad, I don't think is going to hit the way I want it to. But you feel so pressured in terms of what are your social expectations.
Yeah.
Like if Nancy spent time making this potato salad, whether it has seasoning or not, it's my obligation to eat this thing because I want to leave a good impression on folks. So Sandra, I know you probably have thoughts on office potlucks. Sandra's situation reminded me of that, but she persevered. And then in terms of what I think our listeners and viewers really want to hear, Brad, Gary told Kathy bye-bye. April was eliminated. Kathy was eliminated. Teresa was not. So I think Teresa officially won this battle. And we are so close to hometowns, Brad. We have episode 5 coming up this week. And then that next week, episode 6, we're going into hometowns. Only 4 women can make it. I would love to get your predictions. We have 6 women left, and they are as follows. The aforementioned Teresa from New Jersey. We have Susan, Leslie, Faith, Ellen, and our beloved Sandra. Who makes it to hometowns, Brad? Or you can flip it. Who gets the boot? I need to know. 2 women got to go next week.
The 2 women that I think are going to get the boot it's actually between 3 right now. Susan for sure.
I agree. Sadly, she's cool.
And then I can't tell between Teresa and Sandra. That's the 2.
Me too.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. My heart says Sandra. My head says you can't do that. It's Teresa. like
Teresa's for sure making it to hometowns. Yeah, no. I don't think they would position this Kathy feud. I don't think Teresa's winning, but I think that she's at
it's got to
least
last
making it to
one
hometown.
more week, right?
I think she gets eliminated during hometowns for sure. But that means Sandra's not making it.
Yeah, Susan and Sandra are kind of who I feel.
2 fan favorites.
Yeah. Well, is Susan? I don't know. Is Susan a fan favorite?
I think so. I think so. I do.
I don't get those people. No disrespect to Susan. I'm sure she's awesome.
She does seem awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like you and I both have the same final 4 of Teresa, Leslie, Faith, and Ellen. Is that right?
Yep. Unless something egregious happens this week where we learn a whole bunch of stuff about somebody that we haven't seen, how much they've been withholding from the show. Because when they show again, behind the scenes stuff, everybody seems much more fun than what we get on TV, where Susan is basically up until this week, and I didn't even see the ep yet. Before this, I feel like Susan never got to be on TV one time as herself. So I don't know what she's like. The only real memory I have of her is her grimacing, waiting for a rose, and then kicking a wooden block during the talent show. Like, that's all I got.
Yeah. And I think she's also
else.
being positioned to be more of a friend to Gary, life of the party, really bubbly, gets along with folks.
Sure.
I don't know that she's been presented as having a really strong romantic connection with Gary, like an Ellen or Faith or even Leslie. I think she's definitely trailing some of her competition in that regard.
Right now, I feel like Ellen's probably the front runner.
Definitely.
Right.
Definitely. Pickleball champ. She just seems like she's very athletic and outdoorsy, and I think that's what Gary's looking for in a partner.
It's hard to tell because Leslie's very athletic as well. I don't know about the other. That's the thing. It's like,
and they have the hearing aid connection, which was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
strange.
But
Faith sang to him, Brad. You remember night 1 when
Yes.
she brought out the guitar, and Gary seemed mesmerized. Like, not only is this lady beautiful, but she also she can do a little thing on the strings.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's tough, man. I don't envy him.
Yeah, potlucks. Back to that. Not a fan, my friend. I said it before. It was probably off air, and there are people that can do this, so don't take me wrong. But man, I don't want to go to a potluck with tacos made by a bunch of white people from the Midwest. I just don't want it. Like, it's not going to be any kind of good. It just isn't. Like the package of shredded lettuce that hasn't been appropriately chilled, and that's probably the spiciest thing that's going on that thing. Like, I don't need that. But to your point too, it's the potatoes. Potato salad is the best example of it because they didn't even put any paprika on top. It's just like a whitish, slightly yellow vessel, like a vat of just mayo and cooked potatoes. I don't even know how else to describe it. It's not good. I don't want it.
Have you reached the stage where you'll pass it up, or do you still feel that subtle?
I never get it.
Oh wow, okay.
I'll go out of my way to eat. I don't care now. If people are like, "Did you try this?" But no, that's it. That's all you're getting from me is a hard no. I haven't tried it yet, nor will I. And sometimes if I like that person a lot, I'll be like, "No, I actually ate before I came over here, so I'm not starving." So
that's good.
And then you can pass on it without having to feel like a jerk. But sometimes I'm just like, hey, I'm not eating that. You're like, I don't really like that.
I wish Sandra would have done that because we saw her eating ice cream, but she's like. If Sandra can kind of copy you, Brad, with your confidence on that, I would be much happier. I agree with you. Avoid the potato salad at the workplace at all costs.
So, question: was this a segment for the show, or is this something that spontaneously happened? This ice cream gimmick.
It seems spontaneous based on how they presented it.
So, if it was set up by the show, then the producers of the show are monsters. Like to make somebody intentionally ill like that for the sake of content, like they know what they were doing. I have a problem with that. If that's the case, if it was just spontaneous, then whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Not spontaneous like a potluck. I can't even say it without being condescending. Just
A little bit of a
Potlucks.
grimace. Yeah, I don't think we're alone, man. You know where to find us at GIPod19. If you have a potluck story, good, terrible, or indifferent, we'd love to hear it.
Now, I will say I do enjoy it's a potluck, but we don't call it a potluck. We call it a cookie exchange. It's just a potluck for cookies. So if it's like a dessert type thing and everybody brings a dessert and we just share desserts, I love those. I'm all over those. But if it's like I'm making my mom's famous chili, it's probably infamous chili, not famous chili, and I don't want it. But if it's something else, it's usually like, yeah, I'm down. This is a secret family thing that you've been doing for decades. It's probably good. So I'm going to try it. But if you've been doing it for a long time and just simply nobody told you to stop it, I don't know if I can trust it. But if it's a cookie, I mean, there are bad cookies, but cookie's a cookie, man.
Yeah, I think the stakes are lower there.
Steaks, lots of steaks. There steaks galore this week. Last week, coming up in the future in AEW, we have all kinds of things going on, Tyler. I'm ready to get into it if you want to hit me with your AEW question.
I absolutely do. Some really great moments in AEW this week. Kyle Fletcher versus Kenny Omega, Andrade El Idolo versus Bryan Danielson, and Willow Nightingale versus Chris Statlander top my list. We even got another amazing Eddie Kingston promo.
So good.
So good. But I want to ask you about Sting addressing his future. Listen, we're gonna combine our segments here.
Yeah, we sure are.
On Dynamite, as you may have seen, he being Sting, pronouns pal, expressed his gratitude for fans and some of his legendary rivals over the years. He also declared that AEW Revolution 2024 will be his final match. Brad, Sting is undefeated in AEW. Here's my question. Should Sting win or lose his final match in the company? And who's your early favorite to face him?
Okay, so I'm going to shave off half of my question, and I'll save the other half for later, since who is this final person? So Tyler, Sting and AEW undefeated, it kind of depends on whether or not it's going to be a singles match, a tag match, what kind of thing they're going to do. If Sting versus younger AEW talent happens, I feel like Sting should put them over. So if it's the Sting Darby match, which makes the most sense to me, that those two have a match, cool. But we're going to have a farewell tour, right? Like Tony's definitely going to be honoring the legends, and we're having a legend in there. My guess, and I don't know if this will happen, my guess is that Ric Flair will be involved in some way, shape, or form. There's been enough distance, I think, between the Dark Side app coming out and when he was supposed to appear. Andrade's still there. I just think it makes a lot of sense to have him do that match. I don't know who he wrestles though. He's wrestled Jericho. Edge. I don't know who the last person is, because there's not really anybody from his era that's still doing it, even a little bit. I can't even think of anybody. Like Rey Mysterio is a WCW guy. I don't know who's left. Goldberg, his last match? That would be lame.
Yeah, no. I think I'd rather see Goldberg Wardlow than a Goldberg Sting.
That would be awesome. Yeah,
that would be.
Awesome.
I would be here for that, especially this heel Wardlow that we're getting. Or not even heel, just the dude like is coming for MJF and is not being secretive about it.
So I guess last thoughts. I have absolutely no idea who he wrestles, but I know if he wrestles a younger guy, that should be his one. But I also think Tony is smart enough to know that he's going to let Sting make that decision, or he's going to put him over because of how he went out of WWE losing.
Yes.
So I don't think his last match was a loss.
Still a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Definitely mine.
Yep. I think let Sting go out as a winner and have him have that last match be a dub. Even though we know it's all a show anyway, I think it's important to let him have that dub.
You surprised me here pleasantly. I thought you were going to go more the conventional route where the guy leaving the territory, or even if it's, leaving wrestling, put someone over, I think Sting is a very unique case for all the reasons you said here, Brad. Not only is he undefeated in AEW, not only do we have the baggage of his WWE run, but I just think this is a really special case where he should get the win. To me, uh, we've already seen House of Black versus Sting and Darby,
Yeah.
but to me, Malachi would seem like the perfect person to go over
Yeah.
on him because of the sort of mythical element. And Malachi Black is just not only one of my favorites, but just so incredibly cool as a character. However, regardless of who Sting faces, maybe Darby's the exception. I think the Icon should get the dub, just like you.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it. If it's somebody like Malachi Black, I don't know. That one might work to go over. It would have to be a younger guy. It'd have to be somebody like Ricky. It would have to be somebody that's just one of the pillars that isn't as established. Like MJF should lose, but not if he has the belt, obviously. But his WWE end was putting Triple H over, who was already going to be a Hall of Famer at that point. So that's the part that it's like, why would you have him go over on a guy that doesn't need it? So, or not go over on a guy that doesn't need it. So anyway,
it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
We got to think about who are those younger talents. Like, is there anyone under 30 even that could really get a Sting rub? That may be a future conversation.
Yeah, and then what kind of match is that going to be, and who's that going to be? Hell, I would love it to be. I would love to see Sting and Christian. I think that would be a blast. And since they have the TNA connection, that one makes all the sense in the world.
That does.
Or even Jay Lethal, like would make a lot of sense. So, and now that I said that out loud, it might be Jarrett. We'll see. Yeah,
but full TNA mode.
Well, not even TNA. That's WCW. Like
that is.
You got to go all the way back.
That is.
Jarrett
they got history.
He can still go. He's still really good in the ring. People don't like him and stuff, but like, my God, that man can work, and he shouldn't be able to after all these years to still be able to work like that. It's incredible. So yeah, I don't know who it's going to be, but my question for you, we'll just roll this all into one big question here, is besides what do you want to see from that final match, what is Sting's legacy in AEW?
He's been one of the best signings in company history by far. As legends go, I think he was really one of the first examples of, earlier I said WWE, their women's roster creating megastars. They do that better than anyone. In terms of AEW and what they do well, for a while it was tag team wrestling. Maybe still, I think they kind of lost some of the magic there. But what they do better than anyone is incorporating legends and really treating legends the way we fans, want them to be treated. So yeah, for me, one of the best signings in company history, really put AEW over in terms of this is what they do better than any other company on the planet. And man, the guy has just proved that he is the epitome of what a wrestler should be. He's just so fun. He's so entertaining. He is one of those special talents, Brad, that makes me happy. Like, I smile when I watch Sting perform. I did when I was 7, when we had Crow Sting in the rafters. And all these years later now, he's just a really, really special performer. And to me, his legacy is that magic he had when he was in the prime of his career, WCW, even into early TNA. He still has that magic all these years later now. And I just know he sits atop my Mount Rushmore pretty comfortably.
I have very little to add, man. Like that, he just brings I don't know what the word is, I guess, gravitas to the company, that he shows up and it's sort of more important. He's the icon for a reason, right? Like when he came into the company, when Cody was being beat down by House of Taz, and the lights went out when Powerhouse Hobbs was about to tee off, and it was just that in black, and then the guitar riff started playing. The second I saw the crow, I was like, holy crap, he's here. I'm sure I didn't say that part, but like I definitely said he's here. I knew it was Sting. And then to watch him come out and that first Tony Schiavone, it's Sting in like 20 years, just incredible. The nostalgia, the appreciation I have for that character and that guy, just so happy we even got this. It gave a credibility to AEW. It gave, like, Sting signing there is sort of like a way to say, yes, this is a legit company. This place is real. I trust this place. I believe in this place. And I think he just sort of elevated AEW just by being there. And then bonus, his matches were a ton of fun. Like, he's done more hardcore stuff in his 60s, like just jumping off things.
Yes.
Wow.
So fun. My two final thoughts here. I always remember that his debut in AEW is your favorite moment in company history. And there's been a lot of great moments in AEW that I know you have thoroughly enjoyed, Brad. So that already speaks for itself to me. And then also, there was no better younger talent to pair him with than Darby Allin.
Agreed.
And like you said, Brad, it just made so much sense instantly that Sting would be the mentor for Darby. And I think Darby has really benefited in a huge way. I mean, Darby's been over since the jump, man. Like, Darby is Darby, but being paired with Sting for this long, all the tag team matches they've had, all the vignettes, I think it's done wonders for Darby Allin.
No doubt. I think he's the perfect person. I can't even think of anybody else that it would be. I think about his size, and I don't think that it gets talked about enough about how massive the older wrestlers are in comparison to some of the younger guys. It's become much more athletic, but HBK was considered a small guy, and he'd be one of the bigger guys in a company now. So it's just kind of wild because Sting shows up and you're like, that man is enormous and could easily rip your arms off and beat you to death with them if he wanted to. So I'm glad he doesn't, because that's murder. Tyler, speaking of murder, we've been murdering school lately, killing the game. I know I'm tired. I'm sure you are too. And I know you have thoughts. So let's get into it. It's This Week in Grad School. Play the music. Dust it off first.
It has been a while. It's an oldie but a goodie. We were talking in the production meeting. This is what not episode, but installment number 3.
3 or 4, yeah.
3 or 4?
And after we said 2 weeks in a row, we'd never bring it back.
No, it wasn't hitting with the audience. But I think this one will, because, yeah, man, we got some tribulations we've been through. We also have some highs to briefly discuss. I am so close to the finish line, Brad. I somehow passed my modalities of learning class. I'm not even going to. You already heard a 5-minute promo from me about toy footballs, so I'm not going to be long-winded about modalities of learning. But it was treacherous, man. I passed literally with the lowest percentage you can to pass. I've gotten like A's and B's in like 8 classes, but this one I was just trying to stay afloat and get by. So I'm in my last class. December is when I graduate. I have now my stool gimmick. So I got the first generation. I even went to Michael's. I figured you'd be proud of me, Brad. I went to Michael's and I said, you know what? I'm going to be that person that decorates my cap this year. So I got these stencils, I got paint, I got stickers. Just spend an absurd amount of money at Michael's. And then I got home, I looked at my Michael's loot and I thought, I'm not this artistic. I'm not this crafty. Like, there's no way I'm going to pull this off. So I looked on Amazon, and what do you know? They sell tassel toppers for $20.
Oh my God.
So I just simply bought a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air tassel for $20. I kept some of my stickers from Michael's, and I just made my own little, we got Baxter here at the bottom. I just made my own cap, and I feel great about it. Thanks to your love and support, my family, my friends, some really cool professors. I'm nearing the finish line, man. So I'm feeling proud. I'm also feeling super proud of you, because you just conquered an absolute beast of an assignment, kind of last minute. and I know you got some love from your professor. So I want to hear how grad school is going for you.
It's going well. Yeah. Likewise, man. Proud of you. It's really hard and I'm sure a lot of people this resonates with it. It's really hard to go get your master's while you're working as a full-time professional doing something else. It's a grind. Jess did it. I've done it. I'm doing it again. I kind of did a doctorate, but I never finished. It's exhausting. But it's also really rewarding. Yeah, this community college class just wasn't it for me. I was told it will help me become a dual enrollment instructor. It did not. It just told me about community colleges, not how to teach in a community college. So I found it pretty meaningless, even though I think the class is like super important. And I did learn a whole bunch of stuff about community colleges. Just don't need it. So it wasn't for me. If I was going into education management or leadership, perfect class to take. Learned a ton. I was kind of picking at that last assignment over the course of several days. It's like, I'll do it tomorrow. It's due tomorrow. It was October 15th. Well, it wasn't. I thought it was the 15th, but it was the 16th. And I only had about a page done out of a 5-page minimum thing. So I slammed out the rest of that essay after Jess finished editing and uploading Small Town USA. Check them out. 19 Media Group. She finished. I jumped on here and I was like, I only got a couple hours. I got to get it all done. And I actually got done early and was like, yeah, I'm not reading this. I'm not going to go back and see if there's any errors. I don't care. I just want to get done with it. And she was like, this is the best one I've had. It's great. You have all these personal anecdotes. You cited everything. I did my research. I did all the work on the front end. Yeah, I did all the work on the front end. It's not like I didn't put any work in this. It's just writing it down. I hadn't gotten to that step yet. I had done all the backlogging, finding sources, writing little notes here and there, and then just putting it all together and organizing it. I never write my introduction until I'm done because I don't know what I have to say about it until I've finished. I don't want to, because if my thoughts take me somewhere else, I don't want to have to go back and change it. I'd rather write it when I'm done and I know where the thoughts are taking me. That's just how I work. So writing the intro was a little bit easier because I had everything else done, but feels good. Off to memoir writing. Really stoked for this class. Just finished my intro. I got to post that and then I got to go in and respond to some others. I will say though, speaking of promos, I did consider one for 10 books that I have to purchase for this class. 10 for a 7.5 week class. And I am scared. Tyler, I'm so scared, but they're on the way. They come in tomorrow, day this podcast comes out. I'm excited for it. I started writing and was immediately like, yeah, this is it. I watched the introduction video. It's awesome. So pretty stoked for it.
I can't wait to hear about it, man. 10 is just an unfathomable amount.
Crazy.
I would be purchasing them and adding them to my cart and knowing in the moment, there's no way I'm going to read all these things. I'm going to kind of cherry pick my quotes for my discussion posts, and I'm just going to find a way to make it through. So I can't wait to hear about your success. I know you're going to rock this class. I know you will find a way, as you always do, but I need to know from you as we wrap up, what did we miss from the week?
Tyler, we missed a lot of things, but I'm going to focus on just one. Spider-Man 2 came out for the PlayStation 5 this week. My goodness, is this game beautiful. I cannot express to you, Tyler, if you find yourself with the means to make a purchase of a PlayStation, it is worthwhile just for this game. The Spider-Man games have been incredibly good storytelling, emotional, really fun gameplay, absolute blast. This, I already know is going to rip my heart out and make me weep. I could feel it happening. Miles' story is great. It's so good. It kind of picks up where the first game leaves off. The controller, the PlayStation 5 controller has haptic feedback. So it's when something swings across the screen in front of you and gets closer, you feel the intensity change from one side of the controller to the other. It's amazing. Swinging feels great. There's like this web glider gimmick. Effing incredible game. Can't say enough about it. Had a couple of bugs, not many, but got stuck in a floor at one point, and then the game crashed early on. But I think it was just because my PlayStation was on a little long. but gameplay bugs, not so much. It was just, I ended up in a weird spot one time and that was it. And a week into launch, that's pretty good, all things considered. So really fun game. Hoping that I have time to play it in the next 2 weeks. And I just don't know if that's going to happen, but I really want to. Tyler, how about you?
I'm excited for you. I got 2 quick notes. One, Mike Tenay was inducted into the Impact Hall of Fame, Impact Wrestling, that is.
Speaking of Impact.
In conjunction with Bound for Glory weekend. Biggest news coming out of that show, though, TNA Wrestling is back.
Yes.
Total nonstop action. We have the logo back, Brad. We have a poster featuring some of the more prominent talents in the company, including Speedball, Mike Bailey, Josh Alexander, Trinity. This is really big news. And
now Sonny Kiss.
Sonny Kiss showed up. Juventud Guerrero. The Juice was there.
The Juice.
So this is officially taking effect at Hard to Kill here in a few months.
So awesome. I'm going to get that. I need to see that.
Yeah, I think it was a brilliant move just for that reason alone. That I'm predicting that the buy rate for Hard to Kill is going to be pretty fantastic. Yeah. And then second, final item for me, got to eat some crow here. The Las Vegas Aces are champs once again. They went back to back. They defeated they defeated the New York Liberty. And they saved their receipts, Brad. I don't know if you've been seeing on the timeline, but since they won, I think this was on Wednesday night, they have just been letting folks know that they heard a lot of the doubt and, dare I say, the slander on their name all season. I even saw a post yesterday that had Kelsey Plum, Asia Wilson, and some of their other stars. They were at a casino. They were wearing wigs and sunglasses and just living their best championship life. And the caption was "Bingo Baddies at the Bellagio," which is so tough.
Great alliteration.
I just wanted to say that on air. It's great alliteration. And low key, like, I really like the Aces. You know, I've had a crush on Kelsey Plum.
Yes, for a long time.
For years now.
Yeah.
I just really thought the New York Liberty were going to take it. They did not. I was wrong. But shout out to these women. Shout out to the WNBA. I'm just glad that more people are watching the product, discussing the product. And I think that history shows when a sports league has a dominant team, viewership tends to increase because we want to see who's going to dethrone this dominant championship dynasty. It even works in wrestling, right? With Roman Reigns and other folks. When we have a dominant champ, people want to tune in to see who can dethrone them, if anyone. So big ups to the Aces. I was wrong, but they are amazing and really, really fun WNBA finals.
Yeah, man, that was the closest game was the final game too, right? That was the closest in the series?
I think so. Yeah.
Wild.
I know, and I missed it because I was working, but I saw the highlights, I saw the coverage, and it was something worth talking about. Well, speaking of what's worth talking about, Brad, another fun edition of GI. If you haven't heard, now you're going to know. You can find our articles on wrestling, on the WNBA, on pop culture, on mental health, all by visiting gimmickinfringementpod.com. We thank you so much for being here. And of course, we hope you'll join us again next week for the next edition of GI. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.